Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to all of you from Thorpes, Haynesville, and the surrounding areas. Tonight, it is really my pleasure to support and endorse Sandra Husbands for the constituency of St. James South. Sandra Husbands is a lady in every sense of the word. She's a lady with a heart in the right place, and she's in politics for all the right reasons. Sandra is truly a decent person who should be and will be given a chance come February 21st to be the representative for St. James South. Sandra is not a orangutan like her opponent in this constituency. And I must tell you that Don Vallenis is the most bad-behaved person I have ever seen in Parliament in the 18 years that I have been in there. He has no manners whatsoever and does not even extend to other members on the opposition side the courtesy of allowing us to speak in silence in Parliament, to be heard in silence. You're speaking, and the man just shouts across at you all sorts of nonsense, even obscenities, while you're speaking. And I have never in 18 years witnessed somebody who has been as unmannerly and uncouth as Don Vallenis has been in Parliament. And I really have to let you know that. Then, as a Minister of Health, which is what he's in government to do, he has put nothing positive at all on the table since becoming Minister of Health. And he should go because of his lack of performance. You have the health services in Barbados that have not improved at all under him in the last 5 years. And I'm going to give you just some examples. Now, prior to the last elections, a decision had been taken by the Barbados Labour Party that a new hospital was to be built in the circumstances that existed at the time. The Democratic Labour Party came in and decided, well, because the Barbados Labour Party had suggested it, they were going to review it. They first decided that they were going to build a new hospital, yes. Then David Thompson said no. He was just going to upgrade the existing hospital. Then Don Vallenis came back more recently and said, yes, there's going to be a new hospital. Although no decision was taken that there was going to be a new hospital, Don Vallenis announced there was going to be one. But the bottom line is that 5 years after being in government to deal with the issue, the Democratic Labour Party has failed to either build or even start a new hospital or to refurbish the existing hospital at a time when our health services in Barbados are deteriorating and deteriorating rapidly. Only last night, a lady from my constituency in Eden Lodge fell in her bedroom. And she fell in such a way that she hurt her neck, she damaged it very, very badly, and was in excruciating pain. And at 9 o'clock, she called for an ambulance. You know what time the ambulance came? 1:30 this morning. And the woman was laying on the floor, could not move in excruciating pain for 5-6 hours, waiting for an ambulance to come. Now, Don Vallenis said last year that 4 new ambulances had been ordered for Barbados. A lie, because up to now they have not even been ordered. But somebody can call for an ambulance at 9 o'clock, and it comes at 1:30. Don Vallenis, Minister of Health. You have lifts at the hospital, 8 lifts. Only 3 lifts are working. Lyrene Sandyford Garner said in 2011 that in 2 months' time, after she made the statement, that all the lifts in the hospital were going to be working. In February 2013, only 3 of the 8 lifts are working. I don't have to tell you the medication story. You know the stories of all the people who couldn't afford to get medication before, who used to get it free. Now, if you want the medication, if you need the medication, you got to buy it. You might get a generic one that may or may not work, but by and large, you got to get it. I know an old lady, a pensioner, who used to get her medication free. Now she has to pay over $200 every 2 weeks or so to get the same medication that she used to get free. And Donville Ennis glories in telling people that they have to now pay for your medication if you want it. He also glories in telling people to get your relatives out of the hospital or we will get them out for you. No humanitarian touch to this man at all. Only recently, as revealed by Dr. Jerome Walcott, the real Minister of Health that Barbados had, a number of deaths we have learned can be placed squarely at the feet of this government, including the reported death of an infant who died last year because the hospital did not have a piece of equipment that only cost $2,000. A little infant died because they did not have a piece of equipment that cost $2,000. And to top it all, Donville Ennis's crowning glory is that we can now boast of the distinction that under the Democratic Labour Party administration, a dead man managed to walk out of the morgue and tell the story. That is their crowning glory. So Donville Ennis has been a monumental failure. And I'm asking the people in St. James South to send him packing come February 21st. He must go. The whole bunch of them, in fact, have to go. And you know, I am not triumphal, but I'm confident. And you know they say that from the children, you can get the true sense of what is happening. Well, today, y'all should have been in Ellerslie Secondary School to see what happened at Ellerslie Secondary School at the nomination of Gregory Nichols. Chris Sinclair went in earlier. You know, school's going on now, although you have the nominations. Chris Sinclair went in earlier, and he got booed by the children. But if you saw the response of these children, and I'm not talking now about primary school children, these are 15 and 16-year-old children who stood on the balconies of Ellerslie Secondary School today and were just shouting, "Raid, raid, raid," and BLP, BLP. And one girl ran out with her poster of Gregory Nichols and hugged the man, and all the children were jubilant. And it was really a sight, it was moving. You were almost moved to tears to see that these children who were supposed to be focusing on the schoolwork could not contain their joy at seeing the Barbados Labour Party. I risk to bet you that you're not going to hear a word about that tonight on CBC. Neither on CBC TV nor CBC Radio. But those children are leading the charge for the Barbados Labour Party, and they recognize that the Democratic Labour Party must go, and they showed it today. And all of you down here today, tonight, must also recognize that there is no need for a change in this country once again. There must be a change. And leadership comes first. Remember the old saying, that when the head bad, the whole body bad. Well, right now we have a bad head. We have a bad head in this country in the form of Fumble Stewart. Don Vallinis can only behave the way he behaves as a Minister of Health and survive because Fumble Stewart cannot make a decision. Any other Prime Minister worth his salt would have fired Don Vallinis a long time ago. There is no doctor you can find across Barbados, even DLP doctors, who will tell you that they are in any way impressed by Don Vallinis or that they are satisfied with him. But Founder Stewart allows him to stay in position because Founder Stewart cannot make a decision. 11 eager men came together and decided that they were going to take steps to get rid of Founder Stewart as a leader. All the evidence was there. Everybody in the public had the evidence, the newspapers had the evidence, everybody had the evidence. You know that Founder Stewart refused to do anything about it, even although his own neck was at stake. Man cannot make a decision. Alexandra School, a Minister of Education has on his desk a report sitting around for years. The Minister of Education, dealing with the issues at the Alexandra School, hiding it from the cabinet. Then it was revealed that the Minister of Education had this report. Founder Stewart realized the man had the report. And all he did to that man was to say, from now on, you will not act as Prime Minister anymore when I go away. But leaves the man as Minister of Education. And then on top of it, proceeds to spend $600,000 in a commission of inquiry. And then after spending $600,000 on a commission of inquiry, proceeds to do what the commission of inquiry did not recommend, and cause chaos in the education system, destroying the morale of several teachers across Barbados, and more importantly, disrupting the lives of students for the second time. Founder Stewart fumbles, cannot make a decision. He had a report that Ronald Jones had for a long time ago that he could have worked on to solve this problem, but the man cannot make a decision. In fact, as I like to say, just the very thought of having to make a decision offends Founder Stewart. And it really is appalling. You have a Clico issue. A report is published. The man would not even bother to read it. Would not read the report. 35,000 people at risk. Money that they worked for over the years. Now they put into Clico, and the report is published. Founder Stewart takes his time to read the report, and then up to now in an election, he has not put forward one single proposal as to how the Democratic Labour Party should be handling this Clico crisis. It is really appalling. And while he is fidgeting around, you in this country are feeling real pain. Now, you were promised relief by this government against the cost of living. The cost of living was job number 1, job number 2, and job number 3. But now, far from the cost of living coming down, inflation in Barbados has gone up by 30%, the highest in the entire Caribbean. Your light bills going up. Telephone bills going up. Your water bills going up. Food bills going up. VAT going up. Gasoline going up. Diesel going up. Your income taxes going up. And your allowances have been taxed. by a government that said that they were going to give you an ease. So, you have now a country of people with a broken spirit. You don't feel any sense of hope now. And there's a lot of people, as the chairman said just now, who are now finding themselves disillusioned with the leaders of the country because of a set of people who deceive you for the last election. They had a plan to win the government, but they had no plan to run the country. And now tonight, all of you have a broken spirit. People are demoralized. About 2 years ago, I was canvassing because I really don't ever stop canvassing. That's the truth. And I made bold to say that if there is justice in the world, really and truly, I should never lose my seat because I really, really work hard in my constituency. And about 2 years ago, I started to detect a trend coming through in my discussion with some of the young people in my constituency. Not a lot, but one or two. And one or two of them were telling me, Mr. Toppin, things in this country getting so hard now that we can soon start to resort to some kidnapping. And that troubled me. At first I thought they were joking, to be honest with you. But I heard it about 3 or 4 times, and I had to start to take it seriously. And I spent a lot of time talking to these fellas. I even gave them my numbers, cell number and everything. I said, anytime that you're all feeling like if you on the verge or on the edge, you call me. And some of them have called. But you know that only, 2 months ago, a girl in Grisettes, a woman in Grisettes, constituent of mine, decent woman, she was kidnapped. And she's not a woman in any drugs or she ain't in no bad boy line or nothing so. She was just in her house sitting down, and a man and a woman just stormed into the house and raped her up and carried her away, kidnapped her, and demanded a ransom. So you see now what a government, a bad government, can do to a country. It can demoralize you. It can break your spirit. It can destroy your feeling of belonging and your sense of hope and make people turn to all sorts of things. And that is what the Barbadian society is now becoming. A set of people who feel they have no hope, and unless things change very soon, you may well find that those sorts of situations will start to become routine in Barbados. And we must never, ever, ever let that happen. And it's because this country has no leadership, and it has no group of people who take their jobs seriously and who are coming forward with sensible and worthwhile and workable programs for this country. At the economic level, which really is at the core of everything, nothing at all in this country is working. It is hard to believe that in a country, every single thing can be in decline at the same time. But that is what is happening right here in Barbados. Manufacturing is declining. International business is declining. Construction is declining. Tourism is declining. And I am hard-pressed to understand what a government in these situations, in this situation, could really come to you and say that you should accept. I really want to know. All they're going to tell you is what they've been saying all the time, is that it is because of this international recession that everything in Barbados is happening. But this red light can't be flashing already. But understand me when I tell you that when you examine the facts, and Clyde, I want you to give me 5 minutes of your time. Just 5 minutes. Because you have to understand, let me just look at tourism. Because they would have you believe that our situation in tourism in Barbados is so bad because of this international recession. But in this constituency, you have a set of people who are taxi men, maids, barmen, supervisors, managers, all levels in the tourist industry. And you rely on tourism for your success. But I want to read something to you to refute this argument that it is in the international recession that is the cause of Barbados' poor tourism performance. Now, this is a document put out on something called Travel Mole. You can go online and find it. It was published there on Wednesday, January 30th, 2013. And it reads as follows. The headline, International Tourist Arrivals Bust, meaning burst, billion milestone. International tourist arrivals bust, billion milestone. And listen to what this says. International tourist arrivals grew by 4% in 2012, surpassing the 1 billion mark for the first time. Based on the latest UNWTO World Tourism Barometer, arrivals reached 1.035 billion last year and are forecast to increase by another 3 to 4% in 2013. Releasing the figures this week, UNWTO Secretary General Taleb Rifai said, quote, 2012 saw continued economic volatility around the globe, particularly in the Eurozone. Yet, international tourism managed to stay on course. The sector has shown its capacity to adjust to the changing market conditions, and although at a slightly more modest rate, is expected to continue expanding in 2013. International tourist arrivals to Europe, the most visited region in the world, were up by 3% to 535 million. UNWTO said this was a very positive result in light of the economic situation and following a strong 6% rise in 2011. Asia Pacific was the best performer with a 7% climb. Africa went up, grew by 6%. When it came to tourist spending, again, receipts were also up. And these things are happening all around the world, that tourism arrivals are going up. Went up in 2012, despite recessionary times. In Barbados, we had a 6% decline. So far this year, for the first month of January, we have another 8.6% decline. And when you look at the countries in the region now, you don't have to go international. In the region, you know, I actually misled my colleagues the other day with some information. I told them that of the 24 countries that report to the Caribbean Tourism Organization, I said that Barbados was third last, based on the information as at 26 October. You know the information now, as at the 13th of January, Barbados has gone from being third last now to second last. It has gone down by one again to second last, and with the worst performance in summer of all 24 countries. And Jamaica, at the same time, is boasting of record arrivals when we are experiencing declines. I'm very sorry my time ran out, but I really got to get another minute to go into tourism in detail in this country. But in the meantime, I want all of y'all in this constituency to understand that we are at the crossroads now. This is a serious election, but it's a simple one. You got to decide if you're going to stay with a set of orangutans that have no plans at all for this country, or if you're going to go with a team that is proven, tried and proven, a leader that is tried and proven, and that we recognize it is not a straightforward, easy thing to get us out of this mess. The Dems have dug a hole that is very, very deep. But you got to put the best hands to the plow if you want the quickest results. And the best hands right now for the plow are the hands of the Barbados Labour Party, led by Owen Seymour Arthur. Make sure on the 21st of February you go and don't make no sport at all. Get there as early as you can and drive the vote in Sandra Husbands down here, drive the vote in Ronald Toppin cross there, drive the vote in Gregory Nicholas cross there, Kerry Simmons down there, Edmund Hinkson up yonder, and everybody in the Barbados Labour Party. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. God bless.
No stopping, stopping. We ain't dropping, stopping. Cost of living high, high, high. All these pockets dry, dry, dry. We can't take it no longer. We can't take it no longer. Unemployment high, no, like groceries we cannot buy. Man, it's too much pressure. Man, it's too much pressure. Water bill is pressure.
St. James South, good night. We want to thank Mr. Ronald Toppin for that presentation.